Everybody see me? Hear me? Who's here to make the fish and lure cup? I can't see nobody's comments. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna wait a couple minutes since I think a lot of people will be lost in the midst of us trying to get connected here. I live in the middle of nowhere, so my Wi-Fi is sketchy, especially outside. Hi Liza. Hi Lindsay. Hi Danielle. Now your comments are all popping up, so I can see you now. This is what everybody's coming to learn how to make today. The fish and lure tumbler that I posted a few days ago after I got the first coat of epoxy on it. So in just a couple minutes we'll start, because we lost everybody when I got disconnected. For those of you who are here, I posted a list when I said I was going to do the live on how to make the cup. So what we have, if you're trying to follow along, I'll try to go a little bit slow. So we have our primed tumbler. Any size, style works. I prefer 20-ounce tumblers. I have little hands. 30-ounce are too big and bulky for me, so unless they're special ordered, I generally make 20-ounce tumblers. That's just my preference. We're using an old pair of fishnets that, if you're like me, you might have bought for your husband and never wore. They're getting a little dusty, so we need fishnets. Clips, a couple paint colors of spray paint. I have a whole bunch out here, but 2, 3, 4 colors will work. I like bright colors. Like if you have an Ollie's near you, I actually picked up all the Krylon and Rust-Oleum neon colors for like $1.99. So if you have an Ollie's Bargain Outlet near you, I suggest you hit them up for their spray paint. It's just Rust-Oleum and Krylon. These are the brands that I use. What else? Our decals, a few pre-cut decals for after we get everything painted. Hi Shannon, I see you. And I'll try to remember to keep looking at you guys to answer questions. If you guys don't get your questions caught or answered while I'm doing this, you can always inbox me. I'm always happy to help you guys. Hi John. Long time no see, buddy. If at some point you guys start not being able to see or hear me clearly because my Wi-Fi is shoddy outside, somebody please let me know. I'm going to start in just a second. My lovely other half was going to be my cameraman / comment reader, but today's his only day off and I felt bad making him get out of bed. So he's still sleeping. John, how much for the tumblers? Depends. My fish and lure tumbler runs about 30 bucks. For the famous fuck off tumbler that glows in the dark, that one's 30. If it's just paint with a decal, any color, any decal, whatever, it's about 25. And that's for the 20-ounce. If you special order something bigger, it's like $5 more for the bigger tumbler. You're welcome. Also, Johnny, inbox me because we can talk. That's just my general overall. Alright guys, I'm going to start, and then I am going to post this too, so if you try to follow along or you're not following along and you want this later, I'm going to post it in all the cup groups and on my page as well. And if you have trouble finding it, just let me know, inbox me, and I'll send it to you, or I'll send you the link. So yeah, to make sure everybody who wants it gets it. So this is what we're making. Fish tumbler. A little bit back anatomy of a fishing lure for anybody that doesn't know. Your lightest color is always going to be on the belly. Your darkest color is always going to be on the top. So that's usually what I start with, is my lightest color on the bottom, and then I kind of work my way from there, and then I will do the top with the darkest color before the fishnets. This is pre-scale. And then I'll kind of work the sides and blend them in. If you have an airbrush, kudos to you. That'll make this job 100 times easier for you. Hi, Derek. I don't yet. I use just the spray paint can, and it makes it a little bit more difficult, but you can do it. Just remember that when you're using your spray paint, the farther away you have your can, the lighter the color is going to be. So make sure you start out really far away. It's a way easier to go darker. It's a huge pain in the ass to try to go lighter. You can do it, but it's just a pain in the butt. I kind of had a head start on this. A lot of people asked me what tutorial I watched. I did not. I was actually, my ex-husband owns a custom lure company. So for about 6 years, we did nothing but eat, breathe, and sleep fishing lures. And so I had a good long lesson on how to paint them. So I kind of had a head start for this cup, but it's really not that hard. So what you're gonna do, and this is just a pencil caddy from the Dollar Tree, and I took a 1/2 inch, because that's what size my PVC is, coupling or connector, and stuck it inside, and it makes like an awesome little holder for when I'm painting wet cups and I don't want to set them down, just for anybody who was wondering. Hi, Mary. Alright, so we're going to start with our lightest color, which is the bright yellow. I'm going to step over here a little bit when I paint it, and then I'll come back and show you guys. I had to move right up against my house in the shade so you could see me. And, hi Shay. And I don't really feel like getting yelled at for getting spray paint on the house. So, this one is fluorescent yellow Krylon. Again, I found it at Ollie's for $1.99, which is probably the cheapest paint I found so far. It works great. Actually, maybe I don't have this stuff away. We can do it right here. For anybody who just joined, today we're learning how to make the fishing lure tumbler. I'll keep saying that because I see people are joining a little bit after. Alright. So all you're going to do is start kind of far away. I'd say maybe a good foot. And just run a line across the cup. This one can be pretty dark because it's your base layer. And that's the start of our belly. If you can see it. I know the sun's kind of... When you're blending is when you want to be careful how far away your can is so that you don't go too dark too fast. Hi Marcy, hi Bobby. Learning how to make a fish cup today. Alright, so my lightest color is my belly, as we talked about before. The darkest color that I'm going to use is going to go on top. And all I kind of do is look at the bottom of the cup to try to determine kind of where the exact top is opposite of the belly. It doesn't have to be perfect, but the closer the better. I think for my dark color I'm going to use green. And that's just bright Rust-Oleum. Again, I found it at Ollie's for $1.99. Hi Caitlin. This stuff dries pretty fast too. I do have a hairdryer plugged in out here because I'm super impatient. But these fluorescent colors literally dry in like a minute. So you're pretty safe to just kind of move along with them. Once you start layering and start getting the whole cup full of paint, you can let it dry. I'd say let it sit about 30 minutes or so. I use a hairdryer. You can also use a heat gun if you have one. I have a tendency to bake my paint too much with a heat gun when I'm drying paint. and it starts to bubble and then I have to start over. So I just use a hairdryer. Hi Caitlin. Hi Liza. We're learning to make fishing lure cups today. All right, so we did our belly, yellow. You're gonna find the opposite for the top of the head, close as you can, and run your dark color. Don't forget your bottom too. I did that with my first one. I just covered it with one of the color paints I used and it was fine, but just remember your bottom. All right, so that's our top. And then, hey Liza, miss you lovely. There's our bottom, our yellow, there's our top, it's our green. And then if you kind of look at the, kind of see, it's pretty close to even, but you're gonna blend your color, so it's not gonna really be super important that it's perfect. Yeah. So this one's pretty wet. I'm gonna go hit it with the hair dryer super quick. Okay. So we got our green and our yellow, that's our top and our bottom. And then if you look at this one, I just kind of blended in the green and the yellow. So this is where we kind of just start going a little bit lighter and layering the colors. I'm gonna throw some pink in this one too, I think. So I'm gonna use pink for the sides. And you're just filling in that white space. And this is where kind of the blending comes in. Liza, I know, I get yelled at all the time by my family because I never have a mask on. I don't like them. Hi Mindy. Hi Kristen. For anyone that wonders what the hell I'm doing, I'm teaching some lovely people how to make the fishing lure tumbler for all of us cup crazy people. Hi Sarah. All right, so we're filling in the sides. We got the top, the bottom, which is the bottom's our yellow, the top is our green. Remember that your lightest color will always be the belly of the lure. The top will always be your darkest color. The sides don't really matter. You just want to kind of blend them nice. I'm going to start kind of far away because I don't want them to be super dark yet. And so right now we kind of look like we just have one big hot mess. So there's our sides, just pink for now. Our belly, our top. Now this is the fun part. This is where you have to try to blend the sides, and as long as you start far away, you're pretty good. I'm gonna start blending with yellow. I found that using your lightest color to start blending the lines, for whatever reason, works the best. It doesn't get too dark. Hi Kristen. Too fast. So where you see where the colors meet is where I'm going to start spraying my yellow, just to start blending them a little bit. And this also gives you kind of a really cool orange because it's lighter. So you can see where like our pink is now starting to blend a little bit and turn into a really neat orange. Our top is still green. And then I'm gonna hit our sides that are coming together with a little pink. Yes, Sarah, I know. Liza just told me the same thing and I get yelled at all the time. Although I don't think you guys would hear me very well with a mask, but I'll be honest, I don't generally wear one. I should. Hi, Macy. Or Marcy, sorry. Yeah, I don't know. It feels restrictive. I don't like it. Don't be like me where you should wear a mask when you're doing this. You're absolutely right. All right, so we're just, again, where the colors are meeting, I'm gonna hit with some pink. And now you can see everything's kind of blending together very nicely. I'm going to hit the belly with some yellow one more time. To get on my glasses. Sometimes I'm not going to lie, there's paint and glitter on everything all over me. I'll tell you a funny story really quick. My boyfriend got in the shower, my husband got in the shower not that long ago, and I heard him screaming from the bathroom. He was a little upset, and I asked him what the problem was. He had found glitter underneath some places he should not have glitter. He's very tolerant with the glitter in this house. Hi, Carolyn. All right, so we're going back to hit the belly with some yellow. Yeah, and I will, when I blow my nose from sanding cups and from painting, I do have lots of yuck in my nose. Totally wear a mask. Don't be like me whatsoever. All right, pink, yellow. All right, and then I'm gonna hit my green one more time, and then we'll be ready to put the fish stocking on, or the fishnets on. Hi, Azor. Hi, Amber. Okay, so we're ready for our fish stocking here. So this is what we have so far. Here's our bottom. It's our belly, is our yellow. And then you can see that it's kind of got a real nice blend to it with all the different colors. And there's no right or wrong colors to use, just whatever you do, put the light on the belly and put the darkest color on top, just because that's the anatomy of a fishing lure. I don't know why it doesn't make sense to me. It must have been a man's design. But that's how it goes. And there's really no right or wrong colors to use. It's really whatever you want to do. Like with this one, we used green and yellow, and then we hit the top with some blue. Came out pretty cool. The darkest color outside of once your tumbler is done, you want to make sure you have a dark accent color or some type of color that will stand out for the scales. And remember that once you put the fishnet on and you paint over it, the majority of your cup is going to be that color. Just because to me, I didn't think about that when I made my first one. I was thinking I was just going to get like the dark lines. And no, like the scales took over, you know, that black fills them in. So just keep that in mind. I think make sure we're dry. I'll show you how to put the stocking on. For my scales, I think I have this really pretty, I also found this at Ollie's, and it's running away. It's like this, I don't even think it says the color, but it's like this really super cool pearl that I found there. It goes on light, but if you keep spraying, it comes out just like a pearl. Nancy, you need to, I know, everyone's yelling at me because I'm painting with no mask and no ventilation. I know, that's why I moved it outside today, Nancy. Hi, Ashley. So we seem pretty dry, so we're gonna go ahead and put our stocking on. You can reuse these, by the way. I've painted with this one a couple times because you're gonna leave it on until the paint dries and then pull it off. So what I do is before I put it on, I just kind of shake all the old gunk out of it. But you can reuse these multiple times, so you don't have to buy a new pair of fishnets every single time you use it on your cup, which is kind of nice. So what I'm gonna do, and these are just regular old fishnets, you can find them anywhere. They're just your basic fishnets. You're gonna slide it over your cup. Show you in a second. And then find the top, like the green is our top, so we want to go opposite of the green on the bottom and pull it nice and tight and clip it. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Rob. So that you get a nice open scale look, if you can see that. And I just grab it on the bottom and I pull real tight, and then I clip it with, these are like just some clips I found at the Dollar Tree. It helps to tighten it if you just kind of give it a good twist. And you're only going to spray the top and the sides. I don't scale all the way around. I found that I like mine better just with the sides and the top. Hi, Antone. Hi, Christy. For all of you that just popped on, we're learning how to make, I'm teaching some lovely ladies that I know how to make this fishing lure tumbler. for anyone who's cup crazy like the rest of us. Okay. So we have it pinned. It's just clipped on the bottom nice and tight. We got that nice open scale look. And I'm gonna just use this pearl. And you can use more than one color on your scales too. I just did one where I hit it with like this pearl and then a blue, and it actually came out really, really cool. So all you're gonna do is when I say the sides, you're going to, I start roughly like just kind of, see if we can, so there's the top, kind of where like that second color kind of ends, all the way around. I do not scale the belly because I just don't like it. That's just my preference. You can do all the way around if you want. If you do want to do all the way around, what I would suggest is do it like this, let this dry, then undo your clip, pull from the top, and clip it on this side so that this side opens up like this, and then just spray that side. I just choose not to do it that way. So I'm going to start roughly around here, if you can see the side, and work my way all the way around to about this side. And again, don't forget about your bottom and that little ridge, like my cup has that little curve. You have to hit that or you're gonna miss it. Hi Patsy. So you wanna leave this on till it dries. So I'm gonna go hit this with the hair dryer that's about 10 feet away real quick. Okay, so, hi Melanie. So once it's dry, it's slightly tacky, but it's dry enough to pull off. I'm just gonna unclip it. And then I'm going to just pull it up and pull it off. And this one was still a little bit too wet. You can see where my scales lifted off, which I'll fix later. This is why you want to do it when it's totally dry. I'm trying to rush the process right now because that's what will happen. But this is what it looks like when it is totally dry. You get like that super cool scale effect. And you'll see on the sides where it's pretty clear where the stocking ended. I just go back in with my colors and blend that. Hi Isla. Hi Tamara. So that was orange, so I'm going to go back in with my orange and blend that scale line. And on this side I'm going to do the same thing, so it kind of overran to the belly. If I can find my, not orange, pink, sorry. And it's kind of cool when you do that too, because you can kind of see with the scales start to fade, but it blends out those lines nicely. And then I'm just going to hit the belly again with some yellow. It's also important that you should leave your caps on so you don't grab the wrong color. I do that often. So now you can kind of see how everything's nice and blended, other than that spot that I will fix later after this live video is over. But that is generally how it looks with your scales. Hi Christy. and it starts to come together and start to finally look like a fish. At this point, I think I'm good with my colors. Once all of this is dry, either whether you dry it with a hair dryer or let it sit a good couple hours, you're then going to spray it with your clear sealer, which I have out here somewhere. Or maybe I did not grab it. Oh yes, I did. And I just use the Krylon Clear for all my cups. Hi Bear and Stephanie. Hi Paul. And obviously you're going to wait a lot longer than I'm going to wait. I'm going to spray it with the clear and then go hit it with the hair dryer because I want to be able to show you guys what follows that. If you're doing this on your own at home, really just let everything set once you spray the clear a good couple of hours, so that everything's nice and dry, and then you don't end up doing what I did to my cup because I wasn't dry enough. So I just take and spray the whole thing. Don't forget your bottom. And let it sit. I'm going to go hit it with the hair dryer again, and then you'll be ready for your decals. And now, obviously all of this is preference. You can go back with your stocking again, put it back on if you want to, and hit it with another color. You can use more colors than this. It's totally up to you. There's a lot of room to play with some different colors and stuff. I mean, you can see obviously these two look very different. We have the green, blue, yellow, and then this one's more orange and yellow. I've seen them done with yellow, gold, and brown. And you can Google also. What a lot of people do is just get on Google and Google fishing lures, and you can pull up all different types of paint designs, and there's so many different styles, from stripes to polka dots to color variation. So you really have a lot of room to kind of play. So I'm going to go hit this with the hair dryer again real quick. And then at this point, once it's dry, Christy, you spray with the net on, and then again after it's off. No, you don't have to. What you do is when you put your fish net on, you spray your paint, and what I do, and some people like to go all the way around, but I don't. I just go like from side to side, across the top to the side. I don't spray scales on my belly, but you can. Put your fish net on, spray whatever scale color you're going to use. For this one, we used like this cool pearl I found at Ollie's. Let it dry. You can use a hair dryer. You can let it sit. Once it's totally dry, pull it off. You can put it back on to do, if you decide to do other colors, or you can do a second color before you even pull it off the first time. The most important thing is just make sure it's dry. To do this video, I was kind of rushing the process a little bit, and my paint wasn't totally dry, and this happened. This is what happens if you don't wait long enough to pull your fish net off. So when I said put it back on, so you can to add more color if you're not happy with what you have after the first time, but you don't have to. So at this point, we clear coated it, and you're ready for your decals. I sent a ton of people the file that I used, and what I did was the file that I sent, I just cropped it down to the stripes that I wanted to use for my cup, and then reversed one of them for the other side. But you can take that file that I sent you guys, and there's so many different designs on there, just crop them down to whichever you want to use for that cup, and you got to size it to whatever cup you're using. For the eyes, this I just found, I googled fish eyes, and I found a free SVG, and then all I do is weed out that middle, and I stick this, once it's pulled off, onto some iridescent Cricut vinyl, and I just cut around it. The other thing you can do that I've done is you can take black vinyl and cut a 3/4 inch circle and a 1/4 inch circle, and then for the 2 black pieces, and take like this iridescent and do a 1/2 inch circle and just layer them on top of each other. No problem, Christy. And you guys, I'm gonna upload this video too to all the groups, and anybody that has questions, feel free to message me. Hi, Bobby. I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have. So yeah, at this point you're just ready to apply your decals, and I'll show you guys how I do this on the one side real quick. I use masking tape. I stopped using transfer paper a long time ago. It's expensive. It doesn't work any better than the tape does. This is just Dollar Tree masking tape. I found that it works just as good, if not better, for me than buying the Cricut transfer paper, or some people too use the dollar clear contact paper you find right at Dollar Tree. Hi, Nina. Yeah, Patsy, you can find the fishnets at like Walmart in the women's stocking section. Me and my son actually also, we just went to Dollar Tree, and what we've picked up too to use was like the netted laundry bags that they carry there. I don't have one out here with me, but they're very, very similar to the fishnet stocking. They're not as stretchy, which I like because you don't have to pull so tight to get them to stay. But if you go into like the laundry aisle where all the hangers and bins and stuff are, if you have a Dollar Tree where you live, those netted laundry bags work great. We just brought them home and cut them up, and we've been using those too, and they're cheaper than paying like $6 for a pair of fishnets at Walmart. I'm big on being cost effective because I like to keep the prices of my cups as low as possible. I feel bad when I need to charge somebody like 45 bucks for a cup. So I try to do things as cost effectively as possible because I want my customers, you know, of all budget levels to be able to afford my work. You know what I mean? That's important to me. So any ways that you can find to be cost effective, it helps. Mine isn't so I have more profit in my pocket necessarily. I mean, it is, but it's also so that I can keep my prices low. So I just cut apart my scales. I try to squish everything together to conserve vinyl. So I just cut one side of these off. And when I did this one, I didn't actually end up using all the stripes. You can see with this is a 20-ounce Ranger cup. I only fit 4 of the stripes on there. So you don't have to use all of them, just use what you want or what fits. If you want to use them all, that's cool too. So I'll show you guys what I do with the masking tape. I just cover the whole thing in tape. Now, I am comfortable just kind of eyeing my decals, but what some people had asked me about, if you're not comfortable eyeing them, you can take like I have a sewing measuring tape, one of those white plasticky things, and run it down the center top of your fish, and with like a dry erase marker, just kind of mark on each side where you want your stripes to lay, and then it wipes right off. To kind of, if you have trouble getting your decals perfectly straight. I've gotten overly confident a few times and tried to eye them and then had to pull them off and actually measure because I'm not always perfect. So whatever works for you. So all I'm doing is taking my one side of my stripes and covering, apparently my table was dirty, but covering the whole thing in masking tape and just rub it down with your, I use my hands, or you can use your little scraper tool. What's important, and I think what a lot of people get confused who might be newer to this, is it doesn't matter what you use to transfer, because you never pull the top transfer off of the decal. No matter what you use, the trick is to work this white piece off the back. Hi, Wolf. Again, for people that's joining, I'm teaching some lovely ladies and gentlemen how to make this fishing lure cup, because we're all cup crazy and this is what we like to do. So you're gonna work the white off of the back. It's never gonna work no matter what you use if you try to just pull the top off. You have to work the white off of the back of your vinyl. And it doesn't generally come off too difficultly. It takes a little bit more time if you got a lot of detail in your vinyl, but this is pretty simple. So we have our cup, we find our top, and that main color is kind of like where I like to separate my stripes on this one. So I'll start at the edge of the next color, and all I do is I lay, see if I can get it so you guys can see me. Okay, so I start where this next color starts, and I just lay the top of my stripes there. So you can see I start by pressing down the top. You can see that. And obviously I'm not going to use these last two. I want mine to stop where this one here goes. So then I will just rub all the way around and make sure it's all on there nice and good. And then just peel off your tape. Now again, this is actually a good learning opportunity. This is why it's very, very important for you guys to wait till your paint is dry. So I'm rushing the process a little bit for this video, and because my paint hasn't sat long enough, you can see that my tape is pulling up my paint. Very important reason why you need to let this sit a couple of hours. So this cup is going far from perfect, but I'm actually kind of glad because I want you guys to understand why dry time is important. If you're like me, you try to rush everything, and this is perfect reason why we don't want to do that. Because normally when I do these cups, they will sit for a few hours before I try to put any decals on, before I try to do any of that. And obviously I didn't hit it with the hairdryer long enough. So be sure that your cup is dry. Hi Judy, hi Sandy. So now in a perfect world, if my cup was dry enough, my decals would now be on. And with this particular one, I'm not putting the eye on it, but I will show you on the other side because this cup is getting probably stripped anyways. This is what it'll look like if you just decide to put stripes. If you want the eye, then all you're gonna do is put those last four on, and I'll show you on the other side real quick. But that's what the stripes look like. I'll show you what stripes with eyes look like, because you can do it either way. I've seen it done both ways. So now I know from doing my last cup that only if I want to put an eye with it, only these four are going to fit on my cup. So I'm just going to cut it. And again, use masking tape. Sometimes you can reuse the piece of masking tape if you're doing two sides. This one I can't because my cup wasn't dry. For the ladies that just kind of joined us, I'm teaching some lovely people how to make this fishing lure cup. We're doing stripes right now. Okay, so same thing, just less stripes. Cover it in masking tape. I'll trim off some of this extra just because it gets in my way. And same thing, work the white off the back. Do not pull the tape off the white because you're not going to get anything. So just work that white off. And again, this is off of the file that I sent a lot of people. I just cropped it down to my stripes that I wanted to use and made an SVG out of it. If you didn't get it, you can inbox me, or if you're some people were having trouble with it being blurry, let me know. I can just send you the SVG file. So on the opposite side, we're gonna do the same thing, just a little bit lower. You can see on the top where our stripes started up here. If I wanna add an eye, I'm gonna start down here on this one right here. There will be no stripe up here. So I'm gonna find where this one is and just kind of eye it around to the other side. And also, it's important that you remember to reverse your stripes. I allegedly did not remember to reverse my stripes. I was very tired when I cut these files last night. So I've been able to pretty much show you guys every possible mistake you can make with this cup and why it's important to remember certain things, and I'm kind of grateful for that. So these stripes are going to be on backwards, and that's okay. Reverse, like to reverse mine when I'm in Cricut Design Space, I just duplicate it, and then there's a thing on there that you can reverse it vertically or horizontally. I just do it horizontally to make sure that they lay the right way on the opposite side of the cup. Like on this one, that's what I had to do so that they were the same on both sides. Make sure again that your paint is super dry before you do this, because it will lift, and I was able to show you guys that on the other side of the cup. So I got my stripes on. So we leave this space up here for the eye if you want to use a fisheye. And what I did for the fisheye, I kind of talked about it earlier. I just Googled SVG fisheye, or just Google fisheye, and this free SVG will come up. And I just take this and I transfer it onto Cricut iridescent vinyl, and then I cut around it. So just the same way that we did the stripes. Make sure you work your back off. Don't try to pull the tape off the vinyl. And it'll look like that. And then I just cut around the circle. Hi Johanna, hi Mary. We're learning to make fishing lure tumblers. So I'm going to cut this off. Cut around the black circle. And then you can choose transfer tape or your little tool. I just pull the back off because it's all one piece at this point. I don't even really use transfer at this point. So then you have a little fisheye, and you can put it really wherever you want. So it's going on this side. I generally try to center it with the stripes a little bit below the top. So it looks like that. And then at this point, pretending that your paint was not too wet, remember to let it dry because this will happen if you try to transfer or lift your stockings before paint is dry enough. We've clear coated it. Now at this point, I will coat the decals once in Mod Podge, let them dry, and even spray seal it one more time just to make sure my decals are not going to lift once I put epoxy on it. Once the clear coat and the epoxy is dry. Hey Mark, thanks for coming out today. Then you're ready for epoxy. This one has one coat. I have to put the second coat on it still. And I had to put my brand on the bottom. I brand all my cups. People who make tumblers like I do understand why we do that. One more coat of epoxy and this will be done. So this cup would probably take, if you get your first coat on real thick and it's good, no dimples or anything, you could probably get away with one. I usually end up with two. So that's pretty much it. Always remember that your paint has to be super, super dry before you pull your stockings off or put decals on. Spray it with clear coat really, really well so you don't mess up your paint job. We got to see what happens when you rush the process, and don't do that. You will end up looking like this, and then you're going to be super angry that you got to strip your cup. In a perfect world, if this did not happen, this is what you got. And oh, and I'm sorry, I almost forgot, fishing hooks. I did not send that file out, but I can if you need it. Google fishing hooks, and this SVG will come up, and you just cut them, and you just, once you got them cut, size them to your cup, stick them on the bottom if you want to add fishing hooks. And some people add names. I have one that I'm doing that's going to be custom for somebody. I ran the name just down this back spine. But again, you can do it any way you want to. Hey Amber. You're welcome. I'm always happy to help anybody or teach you guys how to do stuff. I've pretty much learned at this point how to do all the different cups. So always feel free to inbox me with questions. I'll probably do different lives in the future. I try to do lives based on what everybody's having trouble learning. There's a lot of people I've ran into that aren't willing to really share how they do things, and I don't agree with that because I've not yet run into a cup that was anybody's original idea. We've all, like, this was not my idea. I seen a cup like this, but because I spent a long time painting fishing lures with somebody, I knew how to paint it. So I did. A lot of people were requesting to do a tutorial. So inbox me with questions, or always let me know if you guys are looking for another live. I'm always happy to do it. You're welcome, Melanie. You're welcome, Karen. And I'm super excited to post some of your guys' stuff on your groups that you're in so I can see how your cups come out. And if anybody did not find this tutorial super helpful, like this one clearly went wrong in some areas, but I'm glad because you got to see why certain things are important. If you want this one done again, we can always do that too. Just inbox me with whatever you guys are looking for. You guys are very welcome. And that's about it. So thanks for hanging out, making a fishing lure cup with me, guys. I'm super excited to see your cups. Post them. All right. Bye, y'all.